Hello and welcome to another tutorial on Autodesk Inventor. Today we're going to create this small desktop organizer. So this could be used for things like an iPad to sit across here or your phone to rest against it. And then wallets and keys and those sorts of bits and pieces could just sit on there, and that just sits on your desk. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and create all these part files, starting with the base. And then we will move on to an assembly once all the parts are done, and then we will also do a technical drawing. So this video is going to be quite lengthy, but just follow along step by step and see how you go. So we're just going to start off with the base. It's going to be very similar to this one. It might be slightly different, but we'll see how we go as we move along. So we're just going to start off with a new standard. Make sure you're metric again. Metric standard millimeter part file. So we're just going to start off with some general sizes. So we're going to use, to create this, our width is going to be based off of a standard piece of pine, which is 140 millimeters in width and 19 millimeters in thickness. So we're just going to use those measurements basically to create this as an overview. So we're going to go start with a new sketch, and then I'm just going to go my YZ plane, and then we're going to do a 2-point center rectangle. So we're going to start off with those basic measurements. So we're going to go, our thickness is going to be 19, so where that is, we're just going to click 19, tab, 300, and enter. So remember, when you're drawing rectangles and stuff like that, you just press once in the middle, slowly drag it out, don't hold your mouse button or anything, and then you can put in your numbers as you go. So then we're going to click the down arrow, and then we're just going to want a 2-point corner to corner rectangle. We are going to do the cutout for this front stopper and the cutout for this backrest part as well. So going to do a corner to corner, click there, drag it out. Now we are going to want 10 millimeters down, and then we're going to go 19 across. Alright, so 10 tab 19, and that'll get us those ones. And then we're going to do another one a little bit further along, click, drag it down, and we want this to be 10 down as well, but then we only want this one to be 3 because we're going to use, we're mimicking what we'd do with a piece of plastic to do our back part as well. So that's just 3 millimeters there, and then enter. Now, as you can see, what we have is our blue lines here, so they can still move. These black lines can't. So I'm still in my rectangular tool as well. So I'm just going to press my escape key on my keyboard, and that'll give me back my mouse. So then I can drag this around if I wanted to, but what we need to do is fix these to where they're going to go. So I'm going to go dimension, and I'm going to start with this one here. So I'm going to go from there to there, and then click up the top here. So that's 3 clicks, and we're just going to go 35 millimeters. Same again here. So we're going to click that line, click the front edge, and then we're going to click up the top. We'll make that 35 as well, and just go enter. So now that what that has done, it's fixed all of those lines in place, so it says fully constrained. Alright, so that's what we need to do for this first base part, and then once you've finished all those dimensions, we just go finish, and then I'm going to extrude, and then I'm going to select the main part. I don't need to select these 2 little squares, I just need to select my main body of the base, and then we're going to go the standard width that I was talking about, so 140 millimeters in width, and then OK. So that is all we need to do for the base. So I'm just going to go File, let's save this, CAD examples. Just going to quickly make a new folder. So when you're saving your stuff, especially if you're doing something like this where there's multiple parts, it's very handy to create a new folder. Alright, I'm just going to call this Desktop Organizer. and then I'm going to save my parts in there. So I don't want to be saving your components all over the place. You want to have all of your parts in one spot. So this one here, we're going to call it base, and making sure that we're not just saving it as part 1, 2, 3, 4, because it gets very hard when you start doing your assembly if you don't save this correctly. So I'm just going to save that one. Alright, so that's our main base body part, and now we're going to move on to just this creation of this little front. I call it the front stopper because that's where if you rested an iPad against it, it'll just sit against there and won't slide off the front. So we're going to start that one. So file, new, another standard millimeter part file, and now this one's very easy to do. Sketch, click on the Y and Z again. Now we just want a 2-point center like we did last time. Click once in the middle, remember, just slowly drag it out. I'm not holding any buttons or anything. So I'm going to go 20 millimeters down, tab 19 millimeters thick. Alright, so I'm just sticking to that 19 millimeters because that's the thickness of our 140 by 19 part. So then all we need to do is cut a 20 millimeter long piece and it should fit in there nicely. Once I've finished that, we just extrude it, and our measurement is 140 again. So 140. Okay. Alright, and that has got that part done. So I'm just going to go File, Save As. So remember, making sure we're in the same folder. Front stopper. And then we're just going to click Save. Now, next part, we might do these two back parts out of the wood. So this one, these components actually have what we call a dovetail in them. So when I click on this one, you can see that it actually goes inside of that one in a little flared out angle, and that's what we call a dovetail joint in timber. So that is how we're going to construct it in CAD as well. So we're just going to start with this upright part, and then we'll do this shelf section as well. So again, File, New, another part file. We're going to sketch a 2-point center. Click, drag it out. Now, we want our height. We're just going to go 120 this time. And then we're going to go Tab, 90, Enter. Alright, so it's a little bit different of a measurement. So this is just a different sizing. So 120 up and then 90 wide. So finish that one. And we're going to extrude that one out. Now we need to do the standard width or thickness. So it's 19 millimeters again. And just click OK. Now to create our dovetail up the top, we're just going to go Sketch. And we're going to click on that top surface. So I'm going to click up here. Now, to get this outside square, we're just going to use this project geometry tool. So what that does is it just copies that surface and turns it into a sketch that's the same size. So we're going to go project geometry, click on that top bit. Now what you'll see is these are all yellow lines. They're all fixed. You can't change where they are because it is copying what the object is. Then from here, we're going to add in 2 lines. So we're going to put one line on this side on a little bit of an angle, and then one line on this side on a little bit of an angle. So clicking on both ends of the line to get that to fit into there. From here, we need to dimension and say where we want these measurements to go. So I like doing from the top, we click on the edge, and then we click on the end of our line, not the line, because that'll give us an angle. So if I click on there, it'll give me an angle. I don't want the angle, I want a measurement. So I'm going to go this line to that point, and let's just say 20 millimeters. Down the bottom, that point to that line, and then click again down the bottom, 25. Same up here, so click on the end of the line, click on the top corner or that line, 20, down the bottom, click, 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 25. Alright, so that gives us the angle for our little dovetail. So then we're just going to finish that off. And what that has done is given us 3 sections. So when I click extrude, I've got the option I could do that one, or that one. So for this upright section, we want to click the middle. And we want to go to the output to be a cut. All right, now that's 19 millimeters, which is what it needs to be. If it's anything different, just change it to 19 quickly. But that again is the thickness of our material, of our piece of wood if we were creating this using timber. Then we just click OK. And then we have our upright. So I'm just going to go File, Save As, Shelf Upright. Save that one. And then we're going to create the top shelf dovetail section. So again, File, New, another standard millimeter part file, Sketch, and then same thing again, 2-point center. Now these measurements are going to be slightly different to the other ones. So we need it to be 90, tab, and then it's going to be the width of our whole thing. So that's 140, enter. And then we go finish. So once we've got those measurements done, extrude that one out, not 10. This needs to be the thickness of the material, so 19, and just OK. Now, from here, we could do it 2 ways. We could cut this section out, so I'll show you how to do that. Or you could have marked it out with the other one, but I like to do it this way because it gives you an idea of what it would be like in real life if you did do it. So you'd have your piece of wood like this, and then we would sketch on the top. So from here, I'm just going to draw an angled line, click there, and then I'm going to put a line back to that point there. Same thing here, click, angle. If you can get it to line up, so as you get closer to that line, it'll show you a preview, so to make sure it's in line, that'll be good. Click there, and then again, straight down to the edge. All right, that's what we are after. And then I'm just going to go up to the top, to link that up as well. To get rid of our line tool, again, we press the escape key, and then I'm just going to put some dimensions in. So we know from here to here, so from the bottom to the top, that needs to be 19. Now, if you got that line to line up correctly, it should be showing that it's black as well and move to the same point at 19 millimeters. If it hasn't, you just have to do a dimension from that one to that one, and then down, and 19 as well. Now what we need is these dimensions to be the same. So from this point here to the edge, that needs to be 20. And from that point there to the edge needs to be 25. Same thing here, this edge to there. And that point to there needs to be 20. Now, as you can see, this isn't actually sitting on that edge line, so that wouldn't work yet. So what we're going to do is just use in our constraints up here. So if you've ever got a line that's not where it needs to be, so that needs to be on this fixed line, we need to go constrain, which is this one here, that point to that line. All right, and now that'll fix it there. So once we have those drawn up, you need to have either your lines drawn the whole way around or have this orange line. So that's projected geometry, which enables this to be an enclosed shape on both sides. So then we finish it. Then we're going to extrude and select both of them. And we again are going to use the cut output and just go OK. So now that gives me my cut output and cuts my little dovetail on here. So I'm just going to File, save that as just my shelf. Alright, so now I've got my shelf, my upright, my front stopper, my base, and then the last one that we need to create this desktop organizer is this part here. Now we're going to do this a little bit differently because this is just 3 millimeters. We're actually going to create this using the sheet metal tool. So we're going to go File, new. So not a standard millimeter part file. We're going to use a standard millimeter sheet metal. I know we're going to use, it's going to be plastic, but this is a good way to practice how to fold material as well. So sheet metal, create. Now what we're going to do is go quickly over here to sheet metal defaults, click on that one, and we want to change the thickness to 3 millimeters and just go OK. Alright, so when I open this up again, it'll say 3 millimeters for thickness, which is what we need, not 0.5. So that's the first step, is just go into sheet metal defaults and change it to 3 millimeters. So then I'm going to do a sketch, 2-point center again. Now this is just going to be 10 millimeters, tab 140, so 10 by 140 millimeters. So that's going to give me that bottom section. So if I look here, that's going to give me this bottom section of that stopper, and then we're going to add this one by doing the curve and changing that as well. So we're going to go finish, and I'm just going to click on face, and that's going to automatically, because it's set to default, put that out 3 millimeters. And I'm just going to go OK. From here, what I'm going to add in is what we call a flange. So it's going to create an extra component, and it's going to put it on a bit of an angle. So I'm just going to click on this top edge, or that back edge. Now what this does is it gives me a variety of different options. So positioning, what I want is this one here. Alright, up over that line, and then I want this third placement. So if I hold over it, alright, so I want plane tangent to the side of this face, because I want my fold to start after my 10 millimeters up here. Alright, that's the first thing we need to do. So it needs to be that positioning, and it needs to be that placement. Once you've got that, what we want to do is we want to change this to 25. We want to do 120. So that's going to be out 120 millimeters. And then we are going to change our angle to 20 degrees. So the angle is measured from that top section. Then we're going to change it so it's only the 20 degrees fold from our join line. And then we're just going to click OK. Now, the next step, just to add something in a little bit different, is we're just going to sketch on here. And this is just a skill that you can practice as well. So I've just put desktop organizer in this one. You can put your name if you want, but I've just gone sketch, clicked on my surface, and then I'm just going to go text. Desktop organizer. Now I know that 3 millimeters is going to be way too small, so I'm just going to change that to about 10. And then if you want, you can play around with some different fonts that might look nice for your name. Just go OK. And then I can just put that roughly in the center. You can make, again, if you want to change the size of it. So if I wanted to make this big, I just got to go through and highlight it. I could change this to 15. All right, and get that a bit bigger if I wanted to. So if I wanted it in the center, again, you can highlight it, change it so it's centered, and that'll change my font a little bit different as well. But once you're happy with the font you want, you can click finish and then go to 3D model, extrude, click on our font. Now what this is doing is it's not showing me a preview. Alright, if there's no preview of how the font will go in or out, it means that this font is not able to produce an extrusion. So I'm just going to go back into my sketch. So just double click over here, and I'm going to open up my font again. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to go through and quickly change to another font. Oh, don't like that. Not sure if that one will work either. We'll just go that one there. Alright, so all I've done is change my font by going back into my sketch by double clicking on it, opening up my font and changing that, and then I'll just go finish, extrude, select my text. So now it gives me a preview. Alright, but what I want to do is cut, and I'm just going to say, so half of my thickness, so this is 3 millimeters, so 1.5 is half, and just go OK. So now that cuts that out of there. So I'm just going to save this one as my backstop. So File, Save As, Backstop. So that gives us all of our parts. So we have our backstop, the top shelf, the shelf upright, the front stopper, the base. Alright, and then what I will do is create another video that'll go through how to create your assembly and then your technical drawing as well. So we'll do the assembly first and how to change all of the look of your materials, and then we'll do a technical drawing that'll go through how to add in all your dimensions and those bits and pieces as well. So this is the video of how to create all the part files for your desktop organizer, and I'll see you in the next one.